The humble egg. I would put money on this as being the most versatile ingredient of all time. It's a key ingredient in pastries and sauces due to its ability to bind things together, but it's also substantial enough to be enjoyed on its own. Pretty much every culture in the world has a plethora of egg dishes. Now while I don't have the budget or time to get into all that in this video, I will be showing you 3 levels of egg dishes where the humble egg is the star of the show. For our level 1 egg dish, we'll be making Korean steamed eggs, or keranjim. This dish is fluffy, jiggly, and ultra comforting. It only takes about 10 minutes to make and is a go-to easy meal for me. You'll need a dupeki, a Korean stone pot, to make this the authentic way, but any stone or clay pot will do. We'll start by making dashima stock. I won't go over the specifics since I've covered this in my previous video, but it'll provide a great savory base for our eggs. Sacrifice 4 eggs into a bowl and whisk with a half cup of dashima stock, a tablespoon of fish sauce, a teaspoon of sesame oil, a light pinch of MSG to make Uncle Roger proud, and some white pepper for a little bit of zing. Transfer it to your dukbegi and turn on the heat to medium-high. As the eggs on the bottom start to cook, scrape them with a spoon to form many large curds. After a few minutes, there should be a significant amount of curds and only a bit of running egg left. Cover the dukbegi with a bowl, making sure that it forms a relatively tight seal. Turn the heat to low and let it steam for about 2 minutes. Then turn the heat off and let it sit another 2 to 3 minutes. Now take the bowl off and reveal the fluffiest eggs ever. I like to garnish with some more sesame oil, sesame seeds, and scallions. Ooh, look at that jiggle. This is gonna be hot. This is comfort food at its best. Despite having been a chef overcomplicating foods and making pretty plates, it's dishes like these that I always love to come back to. When I come home after a long day at work, I want something like this. Something simple, easy to put together, and just feels like a warm hug. Now, despite how good this is, I'm still a chef at heart, and I like to make tasty, crazy dishes. So on to level 2. For our level 2 egg dish, I'll be replicating the legendary crab omelette from J-Fi in Bangkok, Thailand. Since I saw her episode on Netflix's Street Food, I knew I had to try it. So I actually flew out to Thailand last year with this omelette in mind, and I'm still thinking about it. Meaty, juicy pieces of crab enveloped in a crispy fried omelette. With only 3 ingredients, this is a dish that is entirely dependent on technique. Start by making a super thick cornstarch slurry with nearly equal parts cornstarch and water. Crack 2 eggs in and whisk it all together. Now take a can or 2 of jumbo lump crab meat and drain out the liquid. Lightly toss the crab meat in just enough egg to coat each piece. Now heat a wok full of hot oil to about 375 F, then pour in the crab and egg mixture. Now here comes the hard part. Using 2 spatulas, try to shape the egg into a log shape. Use the remaining egg to patch up any spots where the crab is exposed and continue to shape the omelette until it's golden on all sides. Drain it on a paper towel lined tray and hit it with some salt while it's still hot. This was a lot harder than it looks. All my respect goes to J-Fi. Look at all that crab. I'll give myself 5.5 out of 10 when it comes to how close I recreated it. So hot. Damn, that was good. Now is this better than J-Fi? Of course not, but it's a pretty solid recreation at home. I know we pretty much dunked this thing in oil, but it's surprisingly light. It doesn't really have a strong oil flavor because as the egg cooks, it expels most of that oil. I mean, it's not the healthiest thing, but it's not the worst for you either. I'm gonna go finish this whole thing and then take a nap. And then we're gonna move on to level 3. For level 3, I'll be putting my spin on one of the most legendary egg dishes of all time. The egg toast by the one and only Jean-Georges. Now, JG makes his with jammy sous vide eggs, brioche, and caviar. Since we're clearly in different tax brackets, I made a few adjustments to my version. I made mine with smoked egg yolks, crispy egg floss, milk bread, and topped it with ikura or salmon eggs, which in my opinion taste better than caviar. We'll start by making a loaf of Japanese milk bread. Although Jean-Georges uses brioche in his dish, I opted for milk bread to make the dish slightly lighter. Start by making a tangzhong by combining 100 grams of cold water and 20 grams of bread flour over medium heat. Stir until it thickens into a goopy mixture and let it cool to room temp. This is the secret behind the fluffy bounciness of Japanese milk bread. In a stand mixer, combine 330 grams of bread flour, 24 grams of sugar, 14 grams of milk powder, 7 grams of salt, and 4 grams of instant yeast. Mix on low speed with a dough hook attachment for about a minute. Then add 95 grams of lukewarm water, 1 egg, and our tangzhong. Mix on medium speed for 5 minutes. Now get 20 grams of room temperature butter and add it in bit by bit while mixing on medium speed for about 10 minutes until a slightly tacky but smooth dough forms. Transfer the dough to your work surface and shape it into a smooth ball. Place it in an oiled bowl, cover, and leave in a warm place to proof until doubled in size, which will take about an hour. Now punch the proof dough down to release any air pockets and split it into 2 even balls. Let those rest for 20 minutes to relax the gluten before we shape.
Roll each ball into a flat ellipse and then roll it into thirds vertically. Turn it 90 degrees, then roll it flat again. Then roll the dough up from the bottom and pinch the seam to seal it shut. Place the shaped dough in a greased loaf pan with the seam side down. Cover and proof until the dough expands to 2 centimeters from the top, about 45 minutes. When it's time to bake, set your oven at 350 Fahrenheit and bake for about 30 to 40 minutes until the top is golden brown. Remove it from the loaf pan and let it cool for at least an hour. Next, we'll make our smoked egg yolks. In a water bath set to 150 Fahrenheit, sous vide your desired amount of eggs for 1 hour. Transfer them to an ice bath and peel. Gently brush away the whites, revealing a perfectly jammy yolk. Using a smoking gun filled with hickory wood chips, smoke the eggs for 20 minutes, repeating at least 2 times to get a strong smoky flavor. Our last component before assembling is the crispy egg floss. Combine an egg with a teaspoon of cornstarch and dashi powder. Transfer it to a squeeze bottle and then load it over a pot of 350 Fahrenheit oil. Let that get GBD and drain on a paper towel lined tray. Now to assemble, we'll slice our milk bread into precisely measured rectangles and butter them generously. Then toast them until perfectly golden on one side. Thinly slice some chives and put it all together.
Level 3. I'm always so tired after finishing level 3. Oh, they're all so much work. I love that smoky aroma. Wow. That is really tasty. That rich jammy yolk just coats all my taste buds. It's definitely a heavy bite, but when that ikura pops, it unleashes that hit of saltiness that cuts through all that fattiness. And I will give myself a pat on the back for adding these fried egg bits. Now what I wanted to showcase with this dish was that making, supposedly fine dining dishes, for the most part, is really just many simple steps done right. Yes, there's a lot of components, but every single component was quite simple and just required a certain level of attention to detail and precision. I'm trying to lose weight right now, but I'm still gonna go for this.